finally today, this is what's been going on because there's more drama, more nonsense, more stupid stuff, right? Apparently, David Ayer has now apologized for the portrayal of Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad because a lot of people were really upset at this. Apparently, it's a 4-year-old movie almost. Harley Quinn's portrayal, very much in my mind in line with like how Tara Strong performed the character for over many years on the animated show as well as the video games. That hypersexualized character that knows she's sexual. If you go and you watch the Assault on Arkham animated movie, her and Deadshot hook up, and there's literally a joke about Harley Quinn having an orgasm, where she, yells out Yahtzee, and that's to indicate that, there was a little bit of brown chicken, brown cow that ending with everyone getting their fortune cookies, which is good. Yes, that's how you should be approaching life in these situations, is to 100% go on in and do that. But anyway, Ayer gets a lot of crap for Suicide Squad, a movie that is fundamentally attacked for probably the stupidest damn reasons. I actually liked it quite a bit. So this is what's going on here. It says that Suicide Squad director David Ayer appears to have apologized after receiving criticism for his take on Harley Quinn. The director recently came under fire for his sexualized portrayal of the DC character in this movie and responded by saying the character's arc was eviscerated in the recent spin-off movie Birds of Prey, which I would agree with. It's kind of like, look at Superman in Man of Steel and BVS and Justice League. There was an arc across the movies, which ended in Justice League of him kind of becoming Boy Scout Superman, which is what a lot of fans wanted. So the evolution of characters over the process of several films is what we call character development. It's what we call good storytelling, and it's called part of an evolving, interconnected, expanded universe, which is what fans want. But of course, again, this is Twitter during a global pandemic. People are home. People are doing whatever. It's just so damn annoying. But anyway, Ayer also suggested that everything is political now, though another fan has since criticized that point, noting that a female character in an abusive relationship is already political. But it's been this particular relationship has been around for quite some time. Everyone knows it's abusive. Harley Quinn wanting emancipation and getting away from that is clearly the good thing here. And all things considered, Birds of Prey handled it terribly. They really did. They spent more time focused on a goddamn egg sandwich than actually about Harley Quinn becoming a better character overall. It was really poorly paced, really poorly done. Just not that good of a movie. But in the Harley Quinn animated show, by the way, currently in the second season on DC Universe, which you should all be watching 100%, it was, they've handled that evolution and that change awesomely. Now, granted, a TV show versus a movie are two different things, but we're also talking live action portrayal versus animated. Margot Robbie, I think like Academy Award nominated. If not, did she win? I don't know if she won, but I know she definitely was nominated, I believe. Or she's been in Academy Award winning films. I think we all can agree on. Even Suicide Squad won the Academy Award for Best Costume back in 2017. So you've got that. And then Kaylee Cuoco from Big Bang Theory. Penny from Big Bang Theory is voicing Harley Quinn in the animated show, and she does an amazing job. Now, it says here, this is what he says. Someone said, Harley was sexualized the entire Suicide Squad movie, and in Birds of Prey, she was a real character, not eye candy. And Ayer here says, sadly, her arc was eviscerated. It was her movie in so many ways. Look, I tried. I rendered Harley comic book accurate. Everything is political now. Everything. I just want to entertain. I will do better. He's got nothing to apologize for. Harley Quinn was one of the most entertaining aspects of Suicide Squad. She really was. She was comic book accurate. They made her voice her dialogue and having the accent. She played up the character. She played up the daddy's little monster bit. It was that kind of mentality that really sold it. This is why women returned time and time and time again to see Harley Quinn. There was a lot of women that kept going. That movie did $796 million or 776, somewhere in the high 700s for its release. Birds of Prey, she was out of her voice like most of the movie. She would go on these long rambling monologues and she would lose that voice. And it just, the movie had no structure. It had no purpose. It had nothing. And so, her arc was eviscerated in Birds of Prey because there wasn't much of an arc. Christina Hodson wrote a bad script. Kathy Yan directed a mediocre movie, and they needed the director of John Wick to come on in and spice it up a little bit, right? To spice it up. And they did a good job with the action. Now, Someone else here says the way your camera looked at her was political. The way you used her was political. You treated her as an object, and she still rose above it. That was political too. Again, they're so desperate to grab at anything that they can. But Ayer here should not have apologized. Says here that he admitted retweeting because this is very thoughtfully written. Thank you for this. I'm growing and learning in a changing world. Look, man, we're talking about comic books here. All right, comic book representation is a lot like the Olympic Village, right? So you have the Olympics every couple of years. You know, these athletes in their top physical form attend this event to represent their country, to represent their craft, their sport, whatever. And a lot of them, then they fuck. They do. They have sex. Like Olympic Village is very much, you know, bow, chicka, bow, bow, right? A lot of that going on. A lot of condoms. You read reports about this too. The reason why I'm making this comparison is because when you look at comic book characters that are in their peak physical form in height of adrenaline all the time, they are also realistically going to bang, and they're going to look good, and they're going to want to bang each other because they all look good, right? It's a lot of that high energy, that high octane energy. Your endorphins are rushing because of the adrenaline in your system. And so what happens after those moments, you get down, you bump pelvises. I mean, you grind them to dust is what I'm talking about here. So really there's nothing to apologize for. People who are upset about her portrayal in Suicide Squad, watch Birds of Prey, and the portrayal you get in Birds of Prey is just not very good. I'm not talking about the sexualized stuff here. It wasn't a good portrayal because it wasn't comic accurate. It wasn't like Harley Quinn in the animated show, comic accurate, that kind of zany behavior. This one was just Margot Robbie trying so hard and an inexperienced director trying to get that performance out of her, right? It just, never mind the whole scene where they like completely humiliate that woman that had no purpose. Even my girlfriend is watching that movie with me. She's like, what's going on with the scene? It does literally, it does nothing. Anyway, look here. Okay. While largely received with critics, unlike Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey underperformed, taking in $33 million in its opening weekend. Suicide Squad made $133 million in its opening weekend. So is there even any kind of comparison there? Right? I mean, like, you can look at the amount of money that they had made, right? You cannot blame Suicide Squad for Birds of Prey because Warner Brothers listened to Margot Robbie. They put her front and center as a producer on Birds of Prey. It was her movie. Her production company, I think, handled it. Like, she helped pick the director and pick the cast. There's a reason why they didn't do Gotham City Sirens. They did Birds of Prey, and that had everything to do with Margot Robbie reading DC Comics and going, I want to bring these other women in and then do a movie about them, but give them no character development. Birds of Prey was a mishmash movie that is an unmitigated failure for storytelling. And even though Kathy Ann wants to argue undue expectations, David Ayer had 6 weeks to write the script. 6 weeks, mind you, to write the script before going into production. And that movie turned out relatively well for 6 weeks of screenwriting. They had how many years to do this? How many years to get the script done? How many years to make Birds of Prey? A lot of time to do it. So I don't want to hear any of this, these weirdos on Twitter that don't know their head from literally their pee hole talking about this subject, of which you can tell fundamentally, wholeheartedly, they have absolutely no idea what they're referring to at all, 100%.